Right, I'm going to set the record straight, okay? A lot of people have been digging in my background and my shadow for a very long time at the end of the day. I have two names. This is a known fact. My legal name is Rowan Catton Daly. My birth name is Catherine Murray Gregory O'Sullivan. So no matter which name the men choose, they're always going to fucking lose. Ancestors Deity Spirit Team specifically, I'm working with the Marigu directly to help support POC women who are struggling outside of Ireland specifically. Before I begin, okay, I was very, very saddened to see that President Carter had passed away. I think it's important that international bodies, big and small, take responsibility for their people and welfare and make sure that it's done right if they care. I have no problem turning up on stage or screen with a towel wrap on. You know, one of a very, very good financial woman actually who I got to find on an app earlier on this year had no problem popping up on and having a chat with her iPads on. And, you know, that's a message that's clear. So whether or not your gender is associated with femininity in any way, all I can say is I know some people who are non-binary who are absolutely fabulous in a dress each and every day. Now, some people are feeling very hurt, all right, because some people feel like there's a prophecy and you haven't done it right. Any respectable Dree, who is a long-time practitioner, knows that a lot of them actually target birth statistically specific dates to do energetic work. You know, a lot of people do manifestation around Nulliman. Why do you think I gave my blessing to the black women? It was part of the plan. Here's the thing with me, alright? I'm a little bit too honest for some people. And some people may say that's the autism. Okay. I'm not going to judge you if you don't judge me at the end of the day. And those who do get to judge me, alright? I hope you understand the data tracks that I've tried to put in the upright. I would sooner be vulnerable and disclose my financial situation on stage, because I have nothing to hide at the end of the day. And in future, if I do, I'll handle that too. I have been targeted for very long parts of my life. I've had to move 10 times in 10 years. And I've been broken into 5. And times that is, I've been broken into 5 times. I've slept in a crime scene beside a person who didn't love me and didn't treat me well at the end of the day. So when I say I'm a survivor and people are surprised at how much I can handle, you don't know the half of it, okay? And just because you might see me talking about it on screen or being a woe is me damsel, you know, that's not my dream. I've always been somebody who will advocate for others when they fall. I'm a bit saddened though by how many people chose to, you know, not help after all. Here's the thing with helping, alright? There's only so much help that you can do before it's wrong and stops being right. Part of embodying being somebody who understands autonomy and sovereignty too means that you empower others so that they can speak up and do what needs to be done too. Are some of my channels a little bit blunt, alright? But herself is a chieftain, strategist, war goddess, alright? When it comes to prophecy and more, she is a healer. That's part of her repertoire. But that's more associated with the likes of Brig or perhaps Zanu. And for me, I have a strong connection with Falta and Uru. I do generally spend a lot of time in nature as best I can. But I also know that my heart belongs to my fellow human and the animals. Part of the reason why I find it so hard to do what's right for me is because I care so much for other people who I see that the world treats worse, unfortunately. You know, am I perfect? No, I've got a chipped tooth and some gaps, okay? But then again, I was also like very, very undersupported when that happened at the end of the day. And anytime somebody had an opportunity since then to try and help make things right, some people, whoever they were, didn't want that to be sorted out, and I don't think that's right. I think when it's important when you call out behaviours on certain platforms, okay? It's because a lot of us do have deep social networks and societal structures that we have to be responsible to at the end of the day. If we don't say what's wrong, how can we make it right? And if there isn't joy, how can one sing day or night? I try very much not to try and overstep others for the most part, you see. But nobody is going to force their name out of my mouth unless I agree, and I do so with integrity. Am I aware that certain things have been deliberately done behind the scenes? Absolutely, because some people are like, well, if you're a psychic, Dre, I'm testing you actually. My ability doesn't negate the requirement for clear, open, honest communication. Negotiation happens, written for a reason. I'm going to go and split the R&D deck first, okay? When it comes to decks, I think this is a fairly big one. It's thumpy and it's only got one word on each, okay? Ancestors, deity, spirit team specifically. I'm actually just going to clap my hands just to knock out some of the energy. 6 on the timer, okay? I got the 6 each and every day. What are we saying with this today? This is an advocacy message. All of my work is. When I use I statements, it's because I don't project. I protect, especially when it comes to kids. I don't have to spend time or send a card or send a text, alright? I don't have to do faux allyship. I would sooner love at a distance and do it right. Wake, star. Who's the little star we're waking today? We're not waking with any baking. Not of the dodgy kind anyway. This is a young star I'm talking today. Okay. We've got some boys and girls and some more in the house, alright? Because sometimes, even when somebody's pregnant, it's a bun before we know anything else, okay? What's with the bun, you see? Sometimes there's Easter eggs every time of the year, actually. When I talk about my names, okay, I've had a very difficult life. I was stalked from a very young age. And I never knew why. And it seemed very strange. And no matter what I did, even when I hid, it seemed to just never go away. I'd kind of slip into structures and get routines, and then something would happen in my life and it would go sideways. Especially with young people who are seen in a public capacity, I think it's important. There's so much pressure put on tenacity. You have to be strong, you have to be brave. But where's the kindness when you cave? Where is the hand that's waving from beside a stage? Where is the person to hand you a tissue when you're having an emotional outburst, okay? I think the other thing, alright, is a lot of adults in the entertainment industry as well can be dealing with childhood wounds. People often forget that when it comes to any kind of theatrical display. A lot of it has got to do with cognitive function and mindsets first at the end of the day. It doesn't matter like what you're wearing if the actor isn't the right person for the part at the end of the day. And I think it's important when it comes to that kind of an analogy, alright? Be the lead actor in your own life. I'm talking to some little creatives today. I believe there's a couple of musicians in the house too. And I'm seeing an artist in a corner who's doing some beautiful colouring too. There's also somebody who's dancing with a hula hoop. I think so much, especially when it comes to creatives, alright? The amount of little creatives who are minorities need advocacy, alright? When it comes to waking stars, okay? I've been hiding the fact that I've been awake for a very long time to help other people just have a good life at the end of the day. My life has been very hard. A lot of my family will tell you that's right. But I don't think they understand the level of clarity and insight. And I don't blame them either, okay? Going back to, I don't give away information that's not mine at the end of the day. Now, I do get to work with some tools that other people do too. I know 3 experts who work with Om personally too. I'm not the only one who works with the Om staves, okay? and other people do it more privately, and that's okay. But also, I can make my own, and other people, I can show you where to go if you want to find out more. Or you can Google, you can do it yourself, you see. I don't require any kind of coercive control over any situation, and I don't think it's fair that you should place it on anybody else intentionally. Especially going back to the I'm awake, okay? When it comes to me and the little stars, I'm a protector at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if I'm broke or considered busted or disgusted at the end of the day. A former youth worker will always be making sure that the kids are okay, especially if they see kids on their own. And some of my neighbours have seen me check in and make sure that they're okay. If I see kids and I'm worried because I don't see supervision, I can't turn a blind eye at the end of the day. Thanks for the mew. Bonnie gives a little confirmation too. Ash is monitoring from the back too. My little protector kitties, they do a lot, alright? Part of the reason why I changed my name is because the first person I fell in love with disclosed that he stalked me. And he waited until we were in a relationship 5 years. And I was quite young when we got together. I was 22. He was 32. And that's an age difference too. So little stars, be careful when you get into cars. And make sure, whether it's near or far, just make sure that you ask if there's an Angela if you need to behind the bar. Okay? I'm going to the espionage deck because here's the thing. The amount of people who have little ones that need to be cared for at the end of the day, this is something that impacts all aspects of society. Those who can give birth and choose to or want to at the end of the day. Demonic attachment in reverse, summer pain in reverse, CPTSD in reverse. For when it comes to social media, okay? This sphere, this genre is a big money-making machine, especially internationally, okay? And there's a lot of people who will put contracts onto little ones when they don't know more, or they may not have the appropriate adult check in the door. So part of me, when I say stay in school, is because I didn't get the education as a working class person that I wanted to. I was also badly bullied, I'm not going to lie, which is part of the reason why being a gamer as a teenager, I've been a bane to many a guy. When it comes to being a bane, you see, I try not to do so deliberately, but accountability is something that I hold to high integrity. Pardon the pun for somebody. Different jurisdictions in the house today. Someone's bringing cycles of conflict and pain followed by love bombing or emotional disdain from this person, I recommend you refrain. No matter what age you are, if this is the type of behavior that you're spotting and it's making you uncomfortable, you tell an adult and you make sure it's someone you trust, okay? And if you don't have one at home, talk to a teacher, a librarian, a lollipop lady, whatever you need to do. Just know that you are absolutely allowed to speak up when things are being bad and not going good for you, okay? And if any parents out there or siblings don't treat it right, that is for those people to figure out, and you get to be the star that you are. If you can share, it is better by far. Someone is trying to weigh you down, not your circus, not your clown. Roll your eyes and leave these jokers to play around. That's the thing, little stars. It's always going to be a playground, by far. The best thing you can do is be clever and make sure you know who's driving the car. Wake up to what no longer serves your path, please. You deserve more happiness. Protect your peace with ease. Some of the worst things I've seen in my life is, again, particularly, I've had people mistreat me, and then when things go bad with children, I've had people throw the blame back on me. And a lot of the time it's because they know I'm quite an empathetic person, okay? That I would sooner take the ego hit and make sure that the kids were best looked after at the end of the day. And that's not an easy thing. That's not an easy thing. Because for some people that means that, well, clearly you don't care if you walk away. Well, what do you do when it's potentially a politician or somebody that you've had to report to child services to? Or you've had to deal with two youth work organisations at the same time, one being employed and one being a voluntary. Clock that one too. Herbs. Going back to be careful, little stars. Medicine over herbs. Depending, okay? Going back to I look after particularly minorities. A lot of minorities will use herbal medicine and other practices, okay? Stones. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you. And don't trust friends that lie in your face and do you dirty. Frequency is very important, okay? Yeah, because insight's next at the end of the day. One of the things that I loved as a kid was the fact that I was good at poetry and art. I had people when I was in school bullying me and making me do their artwork or copy my homework too, or stress me out to the point where I couldn't do the assignments even though I sat with the smart kids, okay? The bullying meant that I never got the same grades, which wasn't okay. This is part of the reason why I want the little stars to be looked after, alright? I don't want anybody else to intercept their ability to activate and have a lifetime that is pure and wonderful and in the upright. I've seen a lot of hardship. Satellite? I see we've got some aspiring engineers and astronauts in the back tonight. How wonderful it is to look at the stars and know that it's potential to get there too. How clever little souls are when they clock that one too. I have a friend in space, okay? Going back to other people don't understand my kind of magic at the end of the day. But I do have a friend who found a very good spot. And she keeps a good eye. She's got a good eye, that one. Okay? And she enjoys the peace and quiet that she can look down on Earth from a distance and make sure that the little ones are okay. Philosophy? What's with the philosophy, you see? When bullies try to make you cave, it's because they are afraid. They're actually afraid of you. You have so much potential and you're potentially really powerful too. So they feel a little bit threatened, okay? Which means that they have to try and make you small so that they feel okay. It's not your fault. Just take the time and maybe just don't get caught up in teenage crime. Pour it into self-care if you can, or care for others, alright? You know, I wasn't able to study much because I was bullied badly, but I was good with animals, alright? I had horses that used to follow me to school. We had wild horses where I grew up in Finglas. They'd come running up the street at 7 a.m. too. We had motorbikes that would go flying past. We would have joyriders and cars going fast. We also had a dog that was trained on a choke chain, alright? For some reason I was the only one that was able to walk that dog and do it on a regular collar and do it right. And I'm not using that as a metaphor for people at the end of the day, because I know that some people think that littler people, whether that be in stature, in a professional capacity, or age when it comes to little warriors with tenacity, it's important that size doesn't reflect the capacity. People might look at my eyes and go, what age are they? I'll be 42 in a couple of days. And some people are like, we've never seen how tall they are. I'm 5'1" and I've got brown hair and I walk. That's what I do. So make sure you're getting your exercise in too. I know some of my little friends struggle with trying to eat the right kinds of food, because some of it's just not nice and some of it's got lots of weird textures too. If you're struggling to eat alright, just make sure that you're taking your vitamins and your water, and eat some veg or carrot sticks or some fruit if you can, alright? I think it's important. So many people, when it comes to looking after the inner child, forget that the basics are required. How many athletes nowadays travel with their own pillow, all right? They're so good at routine and being able to do high performance, but their own pillow helps them to sleep at night. I think it's important when it comes to looking after situations like this. It's important to know that when I say scary things, I'm scaring the big bad monsters at the end of the day. But I'm always glad to back up with a message. Once I know that the kids are safe, I'll stop shouting or standing them down. And then I'll turn around and go, "You okay, friendo? I got your back." I've been a protector since a very young age. And that's, something that other people have a problem with, okay? I've literally been protecting my family since the age of 8. I might be good at knitting, but with knitting needles I'm great. I think it's important, once more, that people understand when I do advocacy work, particularly on my YouTube, okay? My YouTube is not for children. This video is going up just as a reminder to those who think that they're going to come for me and be a silly little pup. The type of work I do at the end of the day is psychic medium investigationship for the most part, okay? And I don't focus down on singular people in order to monetize that, alright? I am alchemizing the energy to protect day and night. I'm looking forward to being able to do a little bit less, hopefully. But, the amount of people who have come for my energy specifically, that's not my problem. I'm just trying to live, okay? But when it comes to little birds, I take things seriously in some ways. I'm being told to come to the nerd deck, okay? A lot of people in my collective come from very different walks of life, okay? And lots of different countries at the end of the day. One of the things that I like to say, I only have a little Irish, but Berbua, to victory, or to win, is words that I appreciate each and every day. Beta in reverse? Yeah. Dealer in reverse. Yeah. Be careful with those ones at the end of the day. If there's grown-ass adults, particularly men, who are trying to get you to agree to things or take things that make you feel uncomfortable, call an adult and walk away. Okay? SMS? Be careful what you text. The less you say, the easier it is to protect your reputation, okay? And if you're... Somebody in my collective is a young star who's probably about 6 or 7 in a couple of days. Be careful with the technology, alright? When your older people are telling you to put away or to do it right, it's because they're looking after you for your long-term goals, alright? You might be small now, but I'm coming up to 42. You'd be surprised how much I appreciate how little of certain things from my teenage years are on the internet now too. And stay on the good side of the law too, please. Okay? Going back to, we don't want anybody doing time who's innocent at the end of the day. Especially when it comes to looking after little ones, alright? I am highly aware that other people in other industries will do it and not do it right. Myth and fate? What's with myth and fate, you see? I am honoured to know a lot more than some people and less about others when it comes to my Irish mythology. And when it comes to people who are interested in that and how it can inspire other industries, people can be quite dicey with the games they play when it comes to characters, parts, roles, contracts, and projects specifically. So I think it's important, okay, that we make sure that when it comes to dealing with myths and lore, because as much as I don't like this character, at the end of the day, there's a very well-known one in Irish history who was Cuchulainn, who was a young lad who had a very tough life. and it was very dangerous because it wasn't done right. So we don't want little Cucullins out here that aren't looked after at the end of the day. What's with the woman? There's some wonderful women protecting the little ones in my community each and every day. Myth and dark and narrative. What's with that? There's always going to be nightmares, okay? I have had many and been a little to some at the end of the day. The best thing to do is to learn how to counteract it too, and learn how to recalibrate your energy by doing positive things. I like to sing and dance to music while I clean or potter or do other things too. Don't let people steal your happiness, okay? Just because other people might think that you're mean, that's not your problem at the end of the day, okay? Authority? What's with this? Some people are realizing that there was a narrative painted by me. Yeah. I'm not a bad person when it comes to stuff like this. And that's part of the reason why there's going to be some change happening, okay? I am highly aware that I am a known person on the internet each and every day. Which means that when I talk about certain things and some of the content that comes up in my situation when I call in readings, not all readings are channeled, intentionally. Sometimes I get content which will come to me beforehand, but sometimes it will come out unintentionally. What's with maths and books, you see? I'm not an accountant, but I can process invoices, and I've done so with integrity. And I think it's important that people learn more than me. It's one of the things that I've always wanted, is for other people to have more opportunities than me. How could I be a proper witch in my little black dress if I didn't be the kind of witch that will make sure that it looks after the mess? I'm not a bad witch at the end of the day. Mostly. But it's usually the big bad men I'm trying to scare away. I'm being told to pull one from the Irish Alchemy Investigator deck. I'm being told to think big. Have we got some little pirates who like stories about shipwrecks? Diamonds and text. There's lots of saints, sailors, soldiers, and sinners in Ireland, in our history, okay? I think it's very important that we make sure that we look after the little ones and make sure that they get to shine like the diamonds that they are each and every day. Good law in the house, okay? What's with the V? I'm very happy to give an introductory lesson to the small members of my collective on philosophy. Word salad? Potentially. But some of ye are already little rappers, actually. I hope this helped somebody today. Yeah, watch out for the setup at the end of the day. Alright? Swan, take care. And, yeah, have no fear. Alright? Good night.